KLOL was my education. You didn't want to be the last person to know about a new song.
We weren't just a radio station. We were part of the community. We were part of your lives.
KLOL was a pioneer in breaking new artists. That's when they really could.
Wow. Well, Houston's Rock 101 KLOL-FM was a premier Houston rock station known for its legendary artists, some of which you saw there, outlandish on-air antics, and unforgettable tunes.
This was before Tessa hit the radio, by the way. Now the long-awaited documentary depicting KLOL's rise and fall is available to stream. And today we are sitting down with a man responsible for bringing it to your screen, local media journalist and writer, director, and producer of this documentary, Mike Mcguff. Welcome to Houston Life.
Thank you. It's my debut, which is weird on the leap year, so I won't be able to celebrate next year.
Like it never happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it never happened.
Remember this, folks, because this is it.
He's kidding. So Mike is legendary in the media community in Houston. You've been running a blog. You report on what's happening at all the television stations and radio stations. Why did you decide to do this particular project? Because a documentary is a ton of work.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it definitely fits in what I cover, for sure, because, I'm doing the media all the time, so this is a great extension. But I've always wanted to do a documentary, and, my mom died of younger onset Alzheimer's in 2005. My dad had died before that, a few years before. So I had a lot of grief that I was dealing with and kind of just dealing with that anger and the loss. And
wow.
I realized that this project could help me, and I really do think it has helped me overcome that and focus, on something positive and creative. And so I people don't know this, but I think it really has helped me in a lot of ways to overcome.
On your healing process. So a labor of love, because for a documentary, you have to collect so much data. And when you were in the thick of this, what were you learning that you didn't already know? I mean, what are people going to be surprised? Because this was very much shocking when it was happening.
Yeah, I was not alive for the early years of KLOL, so I missed obviously a lot of that. And one of my favorite stories is the fact that George Harrison came in for an interview. He was playing Hoffein's Pavilion in 1974, and he came into the station because he had called in and the DJ insulted him, did not actually believe this was George Harrison on the phone. So the next thing, the DJ was named Levi Booker. This is like 74. He hears a knock on the door. The doorbell rings back then, and there is George Harrison. George Harrison comes in, does a full interview with him.
My goodness.
And you'll see in the movie, it's kind of wild where the interview goes. So.
Okay, and also you were telling us during the break, the same gentleman who started KLOL started
The Buzz.
The Buzz?
The Buzz, I know them, like 94.5 The Buzz. Wow.
Back then, it was 107.5 The Buzz.
It was different, yeah.
Matt Fant, who started KLOL in 1970, left KLOL in like 92, 93, and went over to Z107.5, the classic rock station, and they flipped the format to The Buzz because they said Houston needed an alternative station, and it's still here today, as you very well know. So.
Agree. Yeah. No. That is exactly what Houston needs. So, what are the surprising moments? I mean, if you're shocking, I mean, nothing's really surprising you anymore. But the iconic logo is something that people are so familiar with. I like your shirt, by the way. Why is it so nostalgic to Houstonians that they want to always talk about the heyday?
It's because they grew up with it. It reminds them of the time of their lives when they were young and having fun and things. There weren't as many responsibilities out there for them. And this station, why is this station being talked about when others aren't? It was a very visual station. They had TV shows. They were on television all the time for crazy stunts. We even talk about in the film that there was a fan-run promotion where they said, what can you do to promote us? And someone faked a plane crash into their restaurant in Houston with a KLOL Runaway Radio logo on it. And that made the national news, which we have that footage in there.
I bet it did. That is quite wild. And it's interesting, was it 1970 when it went on the air? This was a groundbreaking station. And for many folks, this was obviously now with social media, you can follow artists online and you can comment and all of those things. But this was really the connection. The radio station was connecting listeners to these huge artists.
Absolutely. Back then, the DJs could play whatever they wanted. There was no playlist. I mean, and they're playing everything from classic rock to jazz to folk music. It was all over the place. And that was definitely the pretty much only way you could find out information. I mean, Rolling Stone magazine was new at that point. So yeah, and even pre-internet in the 80s and 90s, once again, radio was really the only way you could find out about new music, old music if you were too young to have lived it, and what the artists were doing, because the DJs at KLOL actually hung out with the artists when they came to town and were friends with them. That's how we have them in the film to this day. So.
It's incredible to see all of the stars. I mean, you see ZZ Top's Dusty Hill, you see Melissa Etheridge, you see Lyle Lovett, Sammy Hagar. I mean, I could go on and on and on. This was something genuine and almost a lost art form. Why do you think that's so important that people have to see this and that it's all documented?
Well, I think it really, what I like about it is that it works so well as a multi-layered story, because it's about the station, but it's also about Houston and how Houston has changed since then. Houston has grown up tremendously since 1970, you know, such a population boom in the 70s. And it also looks at the side story of ZZ Top. ZZ Top and KLOL started at the same time and grew up together. And then the 80s, you know, ZZ Top had the Eliminator album, which was the MTV hits that we saw growing up. And KLOL had to change in that time too. 80s were a big time of change. So it's kind of interesting to watch Houston, KLOL, and ZZ Top all kind of transform through the years.
For people who are not familiar and didn't listen to KLOL, we talked about the rise and fall. Why did it fall?
Well, there are a lot of factors. Changes with radio ownership, the fact that now KLOL was owned by the other stations like the Buzz and the Arrow, and it becomes kind of the middle station that's playing what the other two are playing. So, you know, when it came time to it, it's like, well, if we get rid of this one, more people will listen to the other stations, which I assume is true as to what happened. And Mega 101 came on because we needed that type of music in Houston. That is a growing audience. So, you know, I can understand why they made that decision to do it. It's just going to upset a lot of people who loved KLOL.
And Mega, of course, is a Spanish-speaking station, so it's actually switched not just formats, but complete language switch. I mean, it is a testament to the diversity in Houston. But again, you know, people were, hey, where's my radio station? Where's my rock radio station? One quick question. We don't have a ton of time left, but what is it that is so fascinating about media that keeps you working and grinding on projects like this?
Honestly, I was always fascinated by media ever since I was a kid. In fact, walking into this very station in 1987, I did a report on Bob Nicholas, who was an anchor here, a morning anchor. And as soon as I came in here, it was like a magical experience to me. And from then on, I worked in the media, and I still enjoy covering it from afar at this point. So.
We're glad you do. Thanks for doing the documentary. Nostalgia for days. Check it out. Runaway Radio is available to rent or purchase on most video streaming services. There's also a special screening this weekend. Alamo Drafthouse Cinema and Katy Star Cinema Grill will also screen the film. There's the info on your screen. Mike Mcguff, thank you.